What's going on, y'all? Masterpiece here, back at it again. You already know what it is. And I'm just back with a fatherhood tip. Man, these are so important. I do these for expecting fathers, or fathers with newborns or children, or just anybody seeking knowledge in general. I'm not saying that I have all the answers. There's no book in parenting, right? So, but when I was an expecting father, you know, I I did a lot of researching and I didn't find too many fatherly opinions, you know what I mean? So I just started creating this series. And today's topic is very important. And that is about, really being firm when something is serious. Say something is they're doing something and it's dangerous, right? They could potentially burn themselves or cut themselves or whatever. You really want to make a big deal out of it. You really want to get in their face, in their whole field of vision and get their attention and really make it very impactful that what they're doing is dangerous and they shouldn't do it. So for example, if they're playing with a knife and you pick it up, you say no, like no, you cannot play with this, and you really spend a lot of time and make it an event because children don't remember little details, I find. They remember emotionally events. So even if your child whimpers or cries, as long as they get the message, and then after you can test and see if they got the message loud and clear, you can hand them back the knife, and they should back away from the knife and not want to touch it because you've made such a big deal. And going on forward, you won't have to worry so much about them grabbing a knife. Another example is for my daughter. I did that with my daughter, and another example that I did was for the stairs. Now, a lot of people baby-proof their houses and put guards, like guard railings up. I never did that anywhere that I was because when she was very young, like 5 months, 4 months old, I I really let her know not to go on stairs, and I made it a big deal. I got in her face, and she was looking all worried. And from that point on, she's never even looked downstairs. She just walks right by it. Another thing is the edge. I taught her about the edge, right? The edge. So when she's on the bed or when she's on a counter or wherever, I let her know where the edge is and to always look and keep her eye out for the edge. And I made it a really big deal when I dropped a melon off and let her see it break. And I pretended to fall off of it. I put a little toy off of it, and I made loud theatrics like, oh, ow, ow, oh no, you know what I mean? I really, and she was like crying and all that. But after that, I asked her, where's the edge? And I swear to God, from 3.5 to 4 months and onward, she knew what the edge was and to feel it and not to go close to it. So, in order to, people say that, when you discipline a child, it might be too harsh, the old ways when you spank your children or whatever. But that spanking is giving the child an event, an emotional and a physical event. You know what I mean? And they're remembering that, and it's a form of trauma. I mean, if we want to be all like all peaceful and serene and act like there's not serious issues out there and danger, then yeah, it's a little traumatic. But you know what? It's better that the harsh lesson comes from the loving parent rather than the hard way on the streets where nobody cares, rather than at the babysitters, if you guys do babysitters or whatever. You know what I mean? You teach the child the hard way, like all of the dangers out there. You always want to you want to keep them safe, and you always want to keep them on their toes. You want them to be book smart and street smart. You want them to quickly learn not to grab hot irons and not to play with glass and all that. So when you come down hard on them, they'll forget that almost like that anger, and they will, the next day, even 5 seconds later, they'll completely forget about that, and they will remember the lesson. So make the lesson uh, memorable. It's better to do it in the home than in someone else's care where you don't know how they're teaching it to them, or you know what I mean, or how they're getting shown that lesson. You know what I mean? Whether they cut themselves or they grab an iron and then they burn off their skin and then now they know not to touch it. Make that really emotional, impactful event happen in the home, and then you'll be more comfortable when they go out and play at other houses or playgrounds or whatever. All right. So that's just one important thing that I really wanted to drop. It's a little bit more complex than the other things that I've shared, but try your best, get creative with it. If you know of any other ways to, get the message through, definitely leave it in the comment section below, and I'll be looking forward to hearing from y'all. All right, y'all. Masterpiece, eat to live. Peace.